Oh my goodness, how is everybody doing today? Another wonderful beta read coming at you right now. Oh my goodness, this is going to be great, amazing. So it is a wonderful, wonderful Monday. So with that being said, always a great time to read. Let's get some plugs out the way. Like, subscribe, drop that young channel thumbs up, but also at the same time, let's talk about books. Let's talk about my books first, and then we'll talk about your books. Very important. Bright Dreadful Sun. Oh, my third book. So nice. So interesting. And of course, Not Every Star in the Night. My second book. So beautiful. Very scary. Oh my goodness. And of course, my first book, The Yamikage. Whoa. The library edition. So, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead. Feel free to pick those up. Link might be in the description. Keyword might. But we're not here to talk about my books. We're here to talk about your books. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. So, first and foremost, I want to give a big shout out to, one second, Janir Gogana. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Goanaga. My people pronounce my last name wrong all the time, so one or another, I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. Anyways, for giving us permission to read this wonderful manuscript on YouTube. So, 5-star beta reader, ghostwriter, editor, published author. Oh my goodness. So many things going on. So, what is this? Well, first and foremost, beta read on Fiverr could take hours and hours. And what? Hours. So what this is, it's basically like a compressed, compartmentalized version of a beta read. I like to call them speed beta reads. And the way these work, in case you haven't seen the channel before, pretty interesting, is I look at this as if I'm a brand new reader for the first time, just opening up the book and, just kind of giving my critiques, almost like kind of like a commentary in a way. With that being said, I have not read any of this. So let's just jump right into it. Every time I say it's going to take 20 minutes, ends up taking 40 minutes. So let's not do that today. Okay, we actually got a few to do today, which should be interesting. So this book doesn't have a working title that I know of. It was sent to me like this. So with that being said, we'll declare it untitled for now, but I'm sure it has a name. I will ask the author later. So, okay, let's go. Let's see what we got to do. Let's jump right into it. So, first chapter, very interesting. I would consider centering that alternative font, giving a little bit larger font size as well, maybe really getting at the top there. Pretty interesting. Maybe consider naming your chapters. A lot of people like to do that. They like to name their chapters. It could definitely help add for memorability. Not always. Sometimes they can be very relevant, but a lot of times it does help. So with that being said, let's move on. First sentence, first paragraph, first chapter, first page. Big hot spots, good real estate. So let's make sure we're firing, as we say, on all cylinders. So let's read this very first sentence. A lot of people in my town hid their secrets. Okay, so first and foremost, that is a tell, not show. Just let's take it one step at a time, though. A lot of people in their town hid their secrets, but I doubted any of them had eyes that shine that color like me. Sparkling in a vortex of specks of dark blue and white, period. This was my life, and I had no idea why they shone. Okay, couple different things here. I can see that we're being set up for a very interesting type of book. This is going to be very cool. Vortex, we see words like that, and we go, you know what I mean? But let's double back. Let's really pick this apart, because this first paragraph is very important. You want to make sure you're following on all cylinders. Get that setting in there. Get those main characters in there. Get some sensory detail. This first, what I'm looking at, it's actually kind of funny. I love doing these. A lot of people like these video things. I guess we coined this term. This first paragraph is a sandwich paragraph. I want a nice cheeseburger as a reader. I want a nice cheeseburger, nice, healthy 5 sentences. So a lot of people in my town hid their secrets. Okay, so we're beginning on an ambiguous type of setting. I would go ahead and elevate your setting. This is a tell, not show. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to show, not tell through detail. Kind of when you're telling, you can kind of tell when you're telling, it feels like you're kind of getting poked in the shoulder. So a lot of people in my town hid their secrets, but I doubted any of them had eyes that shine that color like me. Yeah, I would be a little bit more specific here. I would focus more on setting the general aesthetic. It's very close, though. It is very, very close. I see that when we see descriptive words like blue and white, these are words that the mind will register. So definitely look for hotspot keywords that the mind will go, oh, I get that. That's really cool. I would reformat this first paragraph. I would reformat this first sentence. Focus on a general aesthetic. Really create that picture. We got a lot of telling, so double check. Like, for example, he goes, like me. Who is he? We don't know. So, and then with the next sentence we go, I opened my eyes at noon. I like how you're going into direct time, but yeah, go ahead. Elevate this main character. We want to fall in love at first sight. Okay, these are very important. So if we're going off with somebody we don't know, it becomes, what is it called, ladies and gentlemen? A silhouette character. Silhouette character. Not bad. Okay. Can it be better? Of course. So with that being said, go ahead and elevate your main character. This is very important, especially if we're going in first-person perspective. In first-person perspective, we got to know that narrator. We really want to get to know them. And if they're going to be the main character, describe. Elevate your main character. A lot of people in my town, I'm breaking this first paragraph apart because it's very important. First paragraph is very important. So maybe just double back, rewatch these videos if you want. Hopefully, I'll try to get as much detail as I can. I saw that there's 40 pages. 40 pages. That's already, in my opinion, too much for one chapter. But that's cool. That's cool. It's up to personal preference. This is art. Art does not have rules, but it does have a lot of good foundations and a lot of good guidelines. So with that being said, introduction. Really set that strong foundation. So right now that foundation needs to be set more. Sorry, I got mustache issues. I opened my eyes anew while the summer sunlight came through my windows and fell on my face. Okay, if you described how that felt, then that's sensory detail in the form of feel. I saw a reflection in a piece of broken glass bottles. You might also do well to write in present tense. That could help. I saw in the reflection of the pieces of broken glass bottles that were stretched on the ceiling that they happened to be shining dark blue. I would go for more specifics here. It's a little ambiguous. It's not setting, aim for specifics here. Like, set that open aesthetic. I feel like it's really close, though. It's really, really close. The sensation has always made me feel scared, extremely curious, and insecure about myself. Also, another tell. Ladies and gentlemen, get out of that habit of telling the reader, but at the same time, what is he doing here? That's very interesting. Very good. He's displaying emotion. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you're writing emotion, that definitely helps. Go ahead and show. Some people, they have nonverbals when they're sad. So with that being said, that could be another thing. Look for specifics. I'm really kind of trying to get the picture. And you take this first page apart. You really break it apart because it's very important. Whenever that happened. Yeah, so whenever that happened, that could be combined above because it's a continuation of that sentiment. So with that being said, whenever that happened, I always stayed lying in bed for a moment, waiting for them to shut. I used that time to think and reflect about my life. A lot of telling. That's already my big kind of critique here is reformat so you're not telling. I have always wondered what other people also did this all the time. It's very strange. It's like we're being kind of thrust into nowhere. Not in a bad way. You just kind of need some more specific detail. However, I was ashamed to ask because I might be the only boy. Okay, so now he's elevating character profile. Okay, so we know it's a boy. We know the main character is going to be male. So assigned male at birth, at least. So with that being said, there you go. Focus on, that's exactly what you need to be focusing on. Elevating the main character, especially from a first-person perspective. Oh my goodness. Luckily, my eyes always turn to me at home. He said something about eyes like mine. Go ahead and elevate the character profile by describing his eyes. That also gives a huge clue to ethnicity sometimes. Brown eyes could be Latinx. You never know. Blue eyes could be this or that. Go ahead and describe them. You know what I mean? My eyes look very sharp as they look forward. So, yeah, double check. My R's in the window frame was next to my bed. So elevate your setting too, especially if this bed. So what this bed is doing, okay, it's really weird, but the bed is acting as a catalyst for a slight plot movement. It is a plot moving object. Why is it a plot moving object? Because he's laying down on it, aka interacting with it, and it's showing that he's basically having these reminiscent periods while he's on the bed, thus making the bed a plot moving object. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we do with plot moving objects, we describe them in detail. Okay, go ahead, open up that room. So here we go. Nice sensory detail. Okay, this is all nice. Get out of the habit of these little sandwiches too. My house is on the seaside. Very good. Nice. Okay, that helps. Where in the seaside? I listen to the sound of waves pounding on the sand every day. Very good. So what he's doing there is he's describing sensory detail. He's getting specific. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're describing sensory detail, more times than not, specific really helps, being specific. I felt the wind passing through the right side of my body, maybe past the right side of my body. Unless he's a jellyfish, it goes right through him. Oh my goodness. That's cool. Right. So feeling, he's got sensory detail. Get the focus on the big picture here. Let's see. Sometimes I get carried away by my feelings and forgot. So it seems like this character is very emotional. I like that. I really do like that a lot. Especially if we get here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If we get an emotional main character, somebody that displays weakness, somebody that displays vulnerability, they become more relatable. So I like how this main character is already saying, hey, I'm human. I have these sad emotions. Yeah, anyways, yeah, that's good because it really opens up. I took a bath by myself, as I always done. I was around 5 years old. You could drown. Careful. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what he's doing, he's going into the backstory. So that's good. That's good. First dialogue. We're seeing first dialogue right there. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we know that the first dialogue is very important. Okay, it's almost should be in a way symbolic of the novel at large. Do we know that yet? I don't know. It's okay. Just double check. Mom, Dad, where are you? So that is the first line in the novel. So let's really soak that in. Mom, Dad, where are you? These are things that you really will just kind of want to double check and soak in. I like that first line. I really do like that first line. Because when you build on a character that is emotional and then you give an opening line like that, it kind of, like the way I just did it, because, as an actor that's taken acting classes before, that's how you picture it. This is not publishable yet, in my opinion. We're seeing some grammatical errors. Of course, we're still in that first draft phase. Nothing to worry about. Infantile stages, just like the kid in the bath. It's infantile. So we see the pyramid. Yeah, we see the pyramid over there. The period, it's up there after a gust of wind that could be going. So I'm an editor too, so I also kind of like look at the little nitpicks sometimes. Ladies and gentlemen, when you send these off, try to make sure they're super neat. The presentation is neat in a way, but the way it's constructed, it's not necessarily the presentation I have a problem with. I don't actually have a problem at all. But the construction could be a lot better. We're seeing a lot of these little sandwich paragraphs, like the sandwich. We want cheeseburger paragraphs, especially during these nice front pages. Does every single one of them have to be that way? No, but definitely check where these smaller slivers can be combined to make a cheeseburger. So it's not like an onion shop and then, you put it all together. I picked one up and I saw a different kind of species. Oh, they look like humans. They had exceptional powers. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to fantasy fiction. Let me double check that. I'm doing a nice my old books where I read it. Interesting. Okay. So it's not. We don't know if it's fantasy fiction yet, but he's reading the book. So it's a book within a book. A character is reading a book. Oh my goodness. Maybe somebody should write a story about a character that reads a book and it turns out the book is about himself. Whoa. That'd be some awesome. That'd be some Stephen King type stuff. Anyways, I kept exploring it, and based on what the book told, people from towns like this were normal human beings. That's a bit strange. I don't know. I'm trying to really kind of piece together what this book is about. Usually by this first page, you should see kind of like the author's strengths, weaknesses. There's a lot you could tell from just a first page in a book. So I'll definitely double back and check that. Like that paragraph, that onion shop, I'm going to call it onion shop, that one sentence right there. I kept exploring it, and based on what the book said, that's number one, a continuation of that previous thought. Number two, it's an onion shop. Definitely double check. It's kind of odd. Keep on moving. We're moving away from modern cities. Okay. So, from my village. Yeah, elevate your character profile. You need some backstory. Yeah, get out of the habit of the onion shop. So what I received, was 40 pages. 40 pages. I can already tell if this is going to be this construction of these like two sentences, the onion chops, the ping pongs. Redo it, reformat it. So, because that's valuable real estate. So with that being said, this 40 pages, if this continues, could easily be 20. So double check. Before leaving my bedroom, I stole a glance at the cracked pieces of the bottle on the roof. I saw a person with white skin. Okay, cool. Elevating a separate character profile. I would wait to bring in other people until this main character is elevated. Really focus on this main character. Double check. Bag in the living room. I took a piece of bread and drink and took it on the table. Okay, so he's got food in the mix. Food, you can utilize sensory detail. Maybe you could switch his breakfast to like maybe something more elaborate, like eggs that are like just a nice warm smelling good breakfast, like bacon or something. Then you could really pepper in that sensory detail. Could you do it with bread and milk? I don't think so. Okay, so he's talking about pants. So what is that character appearance? You could contribute to that by elevating. Actually, right here, what I would probably recommend him doing is going in the room or being in the room, seeing himself in a mirror, because we're in first-person perspective. So sometimes it is really hard to describe our main character when it's in first-person perspective. But if he looks in the mirror and he's like, oh, look, I look jiffy today, and then he describes how he looks, that's a great way to elevate a main character profile when you're in first-person perspective. Nice little, I wouldn't call it a cop-out, but it's pretty interesting. As I poked my head, I feel like this author would do better in present tense. That's the thing. As I poke my head and try to say goodbye. That's what I think is trying to happen here. I think he's trying to, I think he knows how to write in past tense, but I recommend maybe not reformatting this novel, but going forward, maybe see if you could write something in present tense. I think he would do very well. Because I could see it like trying to emerge. You know what I mean? Kind of interesting. I saw this coming straight forward at my high speed. Okay, I watched it in shock. Woo! So, ladies and gentlemen, the author's describing movement. Very good. Authors that can describe movement, really good. It's a really good tool to have in your tool belt. Very good. Very good. Very good. So, describing movement is definitely something I would utilize. Now, I'm going to have to pick up the pace here, not too much. Usually I get to like 25 minutes and I'm like, I got to pick up the pace. I'm going to try to pick it up the pace a little faster here because it's already 15 minutes. And we're only on page 4 out of 40, so I'll double check. Like I said, a lot of this can be reformatted. There's a lot of good real estate being taken up by these onion chops. That is not what we want, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want these little sandwiches. We want cheeseburgers, and we want cheeseburgers, but also within a balance of different formats, you know what I mean? So, like, there's no dialogue tag next to here. See you later. I would elevate with a dialogue tag. They don't need to be every which way, but sometimes they could definitely help contribute to the character profile. I have to hurry. Okay, so right there, bada bing, bada boom. I have to hurry. So how can we use that to move the plot forward? Dialogue, we contribute to setting, we contribute to character development, and we also contribute to plot. So your dialogue should always have a purpose. All your dialogue should have a purpose. So I have to hurry. How can we make them more purposeful? The character can state where he's going. I have to hurry. I got to get to school for the next 20 minutes. All right. Anyways, something like that. More specific. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is that thing right there? That little star. That is called a dinkus. Funny word. A dinkus. A dinkus. So, a dinkus is used to separate and show a direct, specific passage of time. Direct, specific passage of time. So, right here, he's using a common mistake. Sometimes it plays, but it's kind of weird. So these are used to show the passage of time. So author, go ahead and pepper in a passage of time right there. Make it specific. Right here, what they do, what a lot of authors do is they'll utilize the dinkus to show a separation of thought. Now, and that's not correct, but it is pretty fun to do. Okay. So usually specific. So we can go on a little bit to a flashback there. So it makes sense in a way. When I was running in the sand. See, there's 2 dinkuses that can be removed. Ashman. Okay, cool. Ashman. Specific setting. Really good. Elevate. So Ashman was a small, poor village. That could go, and then the houses were all made of wood, including mine. And then you could put the my grandfather at the bottom as a paragraph transition out. Okay, it was located at the edge of the bay in the United States. Cool. All right, we know where we are. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're in the United States. Just because we're in a setting, we're still world building in a way. It doesn't have to mean we're in fantasy land to world build. Let's see. I greeted the woman next door with an old lady. The next landmark so he's doing the right thing here by setting a foundation. So now the first part's about we're setting a foundation for the main character. We're showing where he grew up. That's good. Indicative of the introduction. Very good. The next landmark we're looking for is the Inciting Incident, which kicks off the plot at large. Let us see. It's kind of a lot of telling, not showing though. And I'm gonna really have to speed. I'm a speed reader, so I can read this. If anything stops, that I will note. So let's see. This gives a young boy. Someone asked with a firm voice. Okay, describing sensory detail in the form of voice. Good. You're 20 seconds late for class. May I ask why? Here, maybe we can start peppering in some more of the character profile. I know we had a grandpa up there. Now we got a teacher. Okay. A teacher with a t-shirt. Well, I'm still on time, I replied to her quietly, feeling insecure. I love how this main character is very vulnerable. I love that. So when you have a main character that you can sympathize with, it makes so much more sense. What do we got here? Oh, go back. Oh, yeah, there you go. But. We don't want no buts. The teacher's right. No buts, young boy. Ladies and gentlemen, do not include this. This is just doesn't need to be there. like the but no young boy, that could go. It's not serving a purpose. Let's double check. Or it can be incorporated. Keep on moving. Yeah, so a lot of this is taking up a lot of good page real estate. There's a lot of good page space being taken up by these small slivers. If you start aiming for more full body narratives with a nicer balance between dialogue and narrative ratio, that would definitely help. Here in this page looks a little bit better. The top here, nonverbal communication, very good. Okay, so we got nonverbals up there. When he's pointing, should raise the body. Some more nonverbals. Nonverbal plus motion, that's good. Glaring at me, okay, good. This poor character, so he feels ashamed. That's crazy. I really want that backstory to be like really enveloping, because to give a really good psychological reason why this character is so insecure, I would love to see what happened to him that made him this way. A lot of times, psychologically speaking, it could be not a good role model. Okay, maybe he had a role model that was not good. Maybe he felt intimidated. A lot of this starts in the childhood, and since he did he gave a flashback where he was 5 years old. So, ladies and gentlemen, from a psychological standpoint, that is industry versus inferiority. Industry versus inferiority, where the psychological challenge at that age is to become industrious, to do things by yourself. And what's odd is he said that he was doing it by himself. That would actually inspire confidence, unless he was doing it wrong. Then that would have the opposite effect, I would actually reconstruct that. So, like, he was not good at doing that. 1 second. All right, I'm on page 9. I'm going to have to speed read this, ladies and gentlemen, try to keep up. Lucky for you guys, you can go in slow motion. I can't do that because this is real life. So just look around, resentful gaze. Try to get that picture on the big picture or large. I want to see this big picture. By the time that this chapter is done, I want to know the genre. I want to know the plot type, or at least have a good indication and a strong foundation. We see something like that. I was hypnotized, period. That is a little bit of a tell, not show. You could show, not tell, maybe utilize a metaphor or simile. That could help. When I watched her, I forgot I was in school. After around me. So we may have romantic elements in the mix. Ooh. We love romantic elements sometimes, and the fact that this character is insecure is a little bit interesting. I wonder how that's going to go into play. Holding a white bag near umbrella. Yeah, so the onion chops are really derailing. Because when the mind speed reads, what this does, it's like a little, like it's jarring. So if you ever read a book on speed reading, that's another thing, to use beats. So ladies and gentlemen, authors out there, yeah, we use beats. So beats in sentences, beats and stops. So usually picture like a little squiggle going up and down. That's how people speed read. They go like this. Or even read in general. So when you have the chops, it goes, look, stop, look, stop, look. It's like unnecessary stop signs. Like it's like a full street full of stop signs, as opposed to a nice street, one stop sign, nice street, one stop sign. One nice street, let the other people go, nice stop sign. You know, what these are doing, it's kind of like making one long street with a lot of stop signs in the middle. So reformat that. I like the italics. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, he's stylizing. Or they're stylizing. Very interesting, very interesting. Oh no, he's getting bullied. Oh, that's too bad. So what kind of plot could this be? Is this going to be a metamorphosis plot? Or ascension, descension? Metamorphosis is kind of like usually used in these coming of age type stories. So I could see this kind of maybe moving that direction. It doesn't seem like the hero's journey. Of course, it doesn't seem like a quest plot. So double check that we're stray away from anything that's like not contributing to the foundation. So we got a lot of things here that are just they can go. This chapter is already, I could tell, a bit more than it needs to be. Focus on, take it slow. A lot of times authors are eventually going to realize that less is more. So double check. Presentation is a bit misleading because we got these little onion chops everywhere. I'm hoping for more full-body narratives. These are simply, you just go back, redraft. Of course, this is going to need redrafts because we're in the first draft, likely. So I would go back and reformat this presentation. You know, subtract what doesn't need to be there and really just kind of build it up. It would long sleeve turret, pocket the pants, fight away. Okay, elevating correct profile. Sensation, electricity. Yeah, there's a lot of things that just don't need to be here. Focus on like getting that big picture in the mix. We get a lot of like nuanced things. So let's begin. Two stones, rumbles, lightning, fluorescent. Maybe elevate the setting. Like if they're in a classroom, maybe elevate the classroom setting. We know that the author can use sensory detail. That's a really good tool to have in the tool belt. And we know the author can describe nonverbals well. Very good. And we also know that the author can describe emotion well. So these are things to double check where you can pepper them in and subtract what doesn't work. Let's see. Move this head at once. Focus precisely. I'm sorry. Okay, now we're getting a little bit more dialogue. All right, that's pretty interesting. Some of this presentation. See, that's some good presentation of dialogue as well. You can also elevate those dialogue tags, but right there, that's actually a pretty good formula. It goes dialogue, pause. This is what I'm talking about, the beats. It goes dialogue, pause, let's soak it in for a second, and then continue with the same. That's really good. I like that. Okay, tick-tock, tick-tock. That's a good way. So, like, what he just did there, man, what page is that? Page 13. Take notes, ladies and gentlemen. That is a good way to write an onion chop. The onion chop paragraphs are those little, like, hey, how you doing? What are you doing? Great, awesome, great. This is a good way to construct those because it elevates them slightly. You know what I mean? So I'd rather see what he just did here with, I'm sorry, sir. I replied, causing the beat, and then continuing. When you're writing onion chops, that is a better one than just, hey, what are you doing? Doing good. How are you doing? Suddenly a crash of lightning. Interesting. Mixing, darkening the sky. Oh, are we going to get into some fantasy elements here? Or what's going to happen? See, this is something I would focus on. See, this little section with the storm is brewing. Even a trope. You can even call that a trope. This could be a part of the inciting incident. It's causing tension. So focus on that. I would focus on this little scenario here where the storm is coming. Also, all of that could be, do you see how like all of this could be chunked in? Like we have like a million different sandwiches. It could be one cheeseburger. And then you got so much more room to do a lot more things. All right, like it's up, brothers. We got so much more room for activities. Oh, my goodness. Very good. Okay. Half hoarse voice. Good. Red eyes. Oh, my goodness. Towels ripped up. Damn. So this is happening pretty fast. I would go back in the drafts and eliminate what's not working. Eliminate, like, what's bogging things down without purpose. All of a sudden, I heard the water splash. Bubbling. I slowly started the lower arm. Big waves start to ascend. They reach full height. Split up. Forming black holes. Oh my god. Okay, so we are moving into fantasy fiction, ladies and gentlemen. Take a step back. Let's take a breather. What page is this? 16. Page 16. Author. I would bring in the fantasy elements a lot sooner. Maybe not too soon, but maybe prior to page 10. So we could solidify genre. So now the fact that we're getting foreign concepts is putting us in a new place here. So look, evil spirit. Oh, where's the boy? Mwahaha. So you don't have to write in mwahaha. That's funny. A lot of people will write in odd things like uh-oh or like, go ahead and describe that in the dialogue tag. I would rather see that in elevated dialogue tag. That's kind of funny though. Mwahaha. See, look, it spoke with a terrifying voice that laughed. You don't have to put mwahaha and then that's funny. It's good. So this writing is good. Don't think for 1 second this is anything berating. We're trying to lift the author up, people. We're trying to add compliments and critiques. So we lift the author up. We don't knock them down. See, okay, look, ladies and gentlemen, that right there could be a chapter break. Right there, right before this happened. Do you see how we went from foundation to events? That right there, two different things. So you can make the one chapter for the foundation. Create the storm, setting the precedent is the inciting incident. Okay. So that storm is now creating this whole different, way wild scenario. So right there, that should be the end of the chapter. Or else, what are we having? We're having a cluttered introduction then, and that's what happens. We don't want cluttered introductions. We want, nice succinct. So author on page number 16, I believe, before the wecko, or maybe even a little sooner, I would chapter break there. Because notice the varying elements, very very different. Man, I gotta speed through this a little bit more. See, I'm glad I caught that though. I don't want to speed too fast, but time is of the essence. A lot of people tell me not to worry about time, but today I have to. But that's not a problem. I'll come back here later and do the other two. 30 minutes is a lot, so let's keep moving. I found the courage to open my eyes completely. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. So we know that we're starting the novel off with this character in a kind of insecure baseline. That's what it's called, the baseline. So with that being said, one of the big goals of the story is to take that character from insecure character to really confident character. That's an ascension plot. And also that's part of the coming of age story. So with that being said, that character development is going to be a focal in this novel. So really focus on taking A to B there. With that being said, it formed a transparent shield. So now we're kind of doing the magic system. Magic system, describe your system. How can it be unique from the rest? Also, does it have drawbacks? Can you increase with your magic system? How can your magic system be different? We want to know. Okay, so yeah, see, this is a whole different ball game, dude. So we're going incantations. I did not expect that. So it seems like almost like two different books. So with that being said, chapter break earlier. Focus on the foundation. Bring in those world building concepts just slightly, a little more. Pepper them in a little bit more. So like when he's talking about the village, maybe the villagers had a belief. Maybe they had a religious belief, or they believed in like the spirits or something. And then maybe he could be like, oh, I always thought that was nonsense. And then bam, it happens. Maybe that's a good way you can incorporate the world building a little bit earlier with making it natural, without sacrificing quality. Boom, boom, boom. I wonder if this kid is going to fight. That'd be kind of cool. We know the author can describe motion well, so that would be nice. Get out of here. Interesting. Dare you to challenge me, Brett? You're so brave, but I'm sure you don't even know to confront me. Ha, ha, ha. You can take out the ha-ha-has. Those can go. Ha, ha, ha. That's fun. I love that. I like it, but from a literary standpoint, it doesn't need to be there. Oh my goodness. Are they forbidden? No, but it's kind of funny when you go ha ha ha, and then you could describe after laughing. Anyways, protection spell. This needs a lot of focus. You gotta put the blinders on, get your purpose. Like what's the purpose of this chapter, and then now, so we move from introduction to events. That's the thing that's happening here. In one chapter, we go introduction, foundation to events. The inciting incident is also not as clear. I would make the inciting incident clear, and that seems to be when the cloud shows up. And so what the spirit is probably going to do is send him on a quest plot, maybe. Let's see. This one's a little bit weird. It's hard to read, too, because of the chops. Then my grandpa said, Dr. Dre's dead. Return to your prison, load of fire. Okay, this is definitely not what I expected after reading the first 10 pages. I would pepper this in a little earlier, yeah, just a little bit. Wave monster, interesting. So these are all foreign concepts. Pretty cool. Why enforce me? So there's a lot of, maybe pepper in some more sensory detail here. Go ahead. So there's a lot of happening here. Don't write that. That'd be funny if somebody just wrote. Anyways, yeah. Go ahead and really open up that sensory detail, like sound, feel, especially when you got so much going on. Sound can be a big one here. Let's see, page 21. So this is where I would usually, stop right around here, but I want to keep reading. It has enticed me, which is good. I want to see what kind of coming of age, what kind of quest, what kind of, the kid is playing the hero here. So is it going to be the hero's journey? Just because it's a fantasy book doesn't mean it's the hero's journey. So double check that. But if you are going to do the hero's journey, I recommend the book A Hero with 1,000 Faces. Very interesting book that shows the elements of the hero's journey. So usually the hero is taking out of their comfort zone. So this kid is talking to a sky demon, sky spirit. So obviously he's out of his comfort zone. So this can indicate possible elements of the hero's journey, which is good. Finish it off completely. Another way of going ocean, which I argued before. Yeah, see when you have this action and you have the chops, it's derailing a little bit. So reformat. I would recommend reformatting the novel in totality. If it's gonna be this choppy chop, the majority of the novel, I would reformat it. Like I said, these 40 pages could easily probably be 20, 25, just with the way that this is structured. Because look at that sign right there. But there was no sign of her. You could literally fit a whole other sentence right there. You know what I mean? So double check. See, you utilize your real estate wisely. Have I seen books like this? Not exactly. Not exactly. Have I seen books with this type of presentation that plays well? So my big recommendation here as well is to go ahead and reformat. Really utilize this page space. See, a lot of authors do this too, where they kind of, I'm not saying this author does it, but just for example, a lot of authors more of a subconscious process. Think more words, more pages equals better book. No, that's not the case. And a lot of authors will learn that the hard way. If anything, size it down. Less is usually more. Size it down. Make sure everything has a purpose. I'd rather read a nice, more condensed, compressed novel where everything has a purpose, the presentation is beautiful, as opposed to a large novel with these chops, onion chops everywhere. It's like this content is really good, but it keeps getting derailed. Like I said, it's like a long street with a bunch of stop signs. Like you go and then another stop sign. Instead of going from one street to the other, there's a stop sign at the end. Holding myself hands on the wet dirt. You see someone approaching. I raise my head. Like another thing too, character profile. We can elevate the main character. That's true. Where is she? Where did he take her? I don't know anything. What are you talking about? What happened? I feel so dizzy. So if you're an actor, this is not a screenplay, but when you're acting, they tell you to do this with your scripts, is to read them monotone. So like if this was a script, you would say, I don't know anything. What are you talking about? What happened? I feel so dizzy. So what can we do as authors? We could reverse engineer it. So like we could speak our phrases and then see how we would want to speak it, then type it. That's the thing that actors don't do. Okay, they act it. We as authors show it. Keyword show. Show. It was like I lost consciousness for a point in time. I watched the math teacher studying English. What is going on? Yeah, it's like reformat this, please. Gotta keep on moving. So my beta reports, I'll put reading. Nothing I haven't commented on that I haven't commented on. Nothing to say that I haven't commented on already. Look for fear. Grandpa is one of the main characters. Elevate his character profile. Give him some nice appearance. How can you make your grandpa may be different than other stories' grandpas? Aim for unique, relatable, memorable. I flailed my arms in all directions like one of those blow-up dolls. Or blow-up dolls, the dolls at the car lot. Oh my goodness. Ran to the face, so many actions, pointed tears. What I love about this author's style is he's really good about describing emotion. I love that. That's not something you should underestimate at all. Same with describing motion. Don't underestimate those things. Even if it's slight, even if it's like, what's the word, general? Even if it's more general, don't underestimate the ability to write emotion and motion. So the fact that he's doing that is really good. It doesn't have to be the most expansive thing, but if the message gets across, very good. Let's see. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, take notes on how this author is writing emotion. It is present. Can it be elevated? Yes, but it is consistent, which is very important. Consistent emotion. That's very important in fantasy as well. Fantasy fiction usually has a wide spectrum of of emotions. So it's very important. So sometimes even in fantasy, you see a lot of humor. You see some of that. You see a lot of tragedy, suffering. Fantasy fiction is almost defined as this large, wide spectrum of all different types of elements. That's why fantasy fiction is kind of like I'm not going to say the apex. I'm not going to say the apex genre, but it's definitely the longest genre, okay, of all time. The first book ever was a fiction, the Epic of Gilgamesh. The first fiction book was The Hero's Journey in its totality. So very interesting. So yes, continue motion, eating some food. Little Dustin. Is that the first time we're hearing his name? If that's the first time his name is declared, go way back. Get that first name way earlier. George. George Costanza. Keep moving. He took a few steps. Now I hope you're satisfied. I told you. You've been fighting for years. I regret to tell you. This is interesting. What? Author, if you're watching this, notice what my eyes are doing. Just watch what my eyes are doing. Okay, that's good. I like that. This is what I'm looking for right here. Nice. So notice how I'm stopping here for a second. Okay, look, read. It's like I'm floating, and then here you go. The onion chops. These are a little better, actually. So break. You have to find yourself. Break. That was true. That can go. You don't need to put that there. Let the audience figure that out. No need to tell. This next sentence right here begins on a conjunction. You don't need that. You don't necessarily need that right there. Grandpa continued. I feel like this author would be so much better at writing in present tense. It's like I see it, you know what I mean? Yeah, so author, maybe the next book you do, or maybe you could write a short story in present tense. Because I feel like you would be really good at it. That's the thing. It's like it's like this is like almost like it wants to be a present tense novel. Traumatic memory occurred to me. That can help with the tell not shows as well. There's a lot of telling. Okay, keep on moving, frightening and embarrassed, turning ahead. I like this. Maybe, okay, outskirts of the town, maybe elevate setting. I felt ashamed and pathetic. Be careful it's not too much emotion. There's different ways you can show it. Through body language is a good one. That's another one. Same with the facial expression, which is a category of body language. Kinesthetics is motion. So when you say you're describing motion well, what we're really saying is you're describing kinesthetics well. Or rather, kinesics. Sorry. When George became engulfed by a gust that stirred up the sand, it finally made a complete... Like those examples, for example. Those examples, for example. Go ahead. Bada bing, bada boom. You could easily make that into... what? You could make that into sensory detail. I walked back home with some kids. Walked by the next door. Neighbor outside. What did I do wrong? Yeah, like I'm not even gonna like comment. I'm just going to read. Just watch what my eyes are doing. And I'm not going to exaggerate either. Don't worry. Because this is all a neurological process. This is, at the end of the day, a neurological process. So we got to keep that in mind. Stay away. Like where I could be gliding right now, I stop. It's milliseconds. It's not like this huge noticeable thing, but it's important. In the town. So we got the dinkus. The dinkus can go. What I would rather see there is a full body narrative that shows the transition of setting. Because we are not using dinkuses to show the transition of setting. We're utilizing dinkuses to show the specific passage of time. So that's those little asterisks right there. A lot of people like to stylize their dinkuses too. Okay, so right here, this could also be a different chapter. I would avoid the dinkus, make that a new chapter. Hey, Mr. George. Like that can go. You don't need that there. The mayor continued. Okay, now we got a mayor. Hold up. Pause. Elevate character profile. If this is going to play an archetypal role, if this person is going to play an archetypal role, such as the mayor, how can your mayor be different than everybody else's mayor? Mr. Mayor. We got some of this ping pong dialogue right there, but notice that the author takes those earlier in the book and elevates them in a nicer way. Right here, if this was everywhere, I would say that, but right now we only got two. So double check. Dustin, supernatural powers. Okay, elevating the magic system. Let's focus on the magic system too. Take it slow. Look for things that can be omitted for things that have purpose. That's what I definitely recommend doing. I'll give a nice little summary when I'm done here. Sticks, spruits, and pots. Must have lit torches in a big bonfire. This is the United States. This is not Britain. I'm going to picture it as Britain, though, just because why not? The people of Ashburn were speaking to the mayor. Oh, my goodness. Kippur, upon entering his room. Elevate setting. Climbed onto the table. Open the window. Man, I wish this was in present tense. That would be really cool. Because we're showing the author showing his ability to describe motion here. So he's hopping up on the desk, waving his hand. Very important. Once authors that don't know how to do that so well, or rather should work on that, take notes. Go ahead. See how this author is doing it. Very good. And then also you could elevate. 1 second. Ooh. I'm going to kind of really speed read these because we're at 40. This is the longest one I've done. Oh my goodness. Kill him. Process stable. Ashband. Dustin. I'm going to count to 3. So Eric, 1, 2, 3. Some seconds. Eric broken. There's a lot of new characters too, by the way. Take it slow. Saying to the mayor, I apologize, my boss. But he was not there. We could not find him anywhere. Like now things are going a little bit too fast. Too fast, too furious. What are you, little Dustin? Dustin, where are you? You can reformat these onion chops. Those can go. Right here, especially. Like the Dustin question mark, that can definitely go. Look at me until I amazed me, saw his eyes. Let me read it. It's not the first time I saw this. Now is even more determined to come out the water. Feeling it, notice closer. Saw the horrendous faces upon the marine monsters. That's really cool. I like that. Maybe describe some of those. Yeah, I really want to see the monsters. Really get those, like, same with that water spirit or the spirit of fire from earlier, the giant thing that came out of the sky. Elevate that, man. Make it really, really pop. Especially when you're seeing these monsters. There's a lot of really odd foreign concepts in this novel. But that's good. I mean, now that's indicative of fantasy fiction. Okay. It's not science fiction because we don't have that primal focus on technology or future concepts. We have alternative foreign concepts. I just felt the presence of an enemy and I saw my life. Oh, last page. Oh, my goodness. So let's move this up because I know you guys can't see that. A little higher. Can you take me higher? Come back a little to the right. Sorry, my screen is over there. I forgot to tell you guys that. So I felt the presence of the person in front of me. Kill him, bring the punishment for the young lady. For the young lady. Shooting me with the phrases, they were already hurting me. I felt pain in my chest and my soul, my eyes were watering. But despite this, I decided to stand fine. So I was a weak person. Wow. Okay. Really good. Really awesome novel. Really interesting first chapter. Let's just break it down a little bit. First and foremost, there's a lot to break down. I'm going to be more on the critical side with this one, but I will give those compliments that it deserves. First and foremost, the ability to describe emotion. That is so very, very important. So ladies and gentlemen, and author, go ahead, double check where you are describing emotion, see where you can elevate, also to see where you can pepper in some of that emotion. Find that range as well. So we see this main character really downtrodden a lot. So find the range when, like, if we can show him in situations where he's very confident, very happy, that could also bring elevation up. But this is good format. Writing with emotion is great for character development. Really good for character development. So that's good. That's definitely working for you. What is going here? I'm seeing some nonverbals being described. Okay. Maybe some more memorable nonverbals. They could be peppered in through the dialogue tags at time. Just make sure the nonverbals are being utilized for a purpose. Make sure everything's being utilized for a purpose. Make sure there's no fluff. Okay. Let me see. Emotion was done well. The ability to describe motion, like actually describing the motion, is very good. Even in the simplest forms, some people struggle with it. So the fact that it is there, very good. Let's see. Memorable character. That's interesting. So we don't see this too often. Or rather, I haven't seen this in this month, or maybe too much. A lot of people struggle with their main character. One thing that this author is doing really well, especially in this genre, very important, is that he's making the main character relatable. So that within itself can be a primary element to a great story. So we see this character, like we went through his backstory and all that. Okay, more on the critical side. What can we say here? The presentation, that especially as an editor, especially as a ghostwriter and a beta reader, it's all being checked. These onion chops, these sandwiches, that's what I started calling them, sandwiches, because they're about like this length. You know, they're like really. Go for the cheeseburgers. Don't go for the sandwiches. Those 2 sentences, they're taking up a lot of space. They're acting as like stop signs that don't need to be there. So double check, reformat. I would reformat almost, if this is how the whole novel is, I would reformat. So it is utilizing less of these like 3 sentence paragraphs. Most of them are like really short. Aim for those cheeseburgers, those nice 5 healthy average sentences. That is my number one complaint here. It's the presentation construction. Not even more of the literary elements. I mean, you can elevate these characters, take it slow. Another thing with the presentation is this could have easily been 3 different chapters. You know, one for the introduction, which is very important, plus the inciting incident. You could transition out with the inciting incident or transition in where they got the sky person that's blowing everything up and causing a lot of trouble. That could be a whole chapter within itself. And now we're seeing them in a new location, introducing all types of foreign concepts. So that could be another chapter too. Notice how all 3 of those sections have different different subject matters. Pretty interesting. What else? Towards the end here, we're getting kind of a wider cast. Maybe elevate those characters as well. The main character still needs elevation in the character profile. Because for all I know, he could be 300 pounds. You know what I mean? He could be 300 pounds of purple. I say that as a funny thing, but it's true that sometimes when people write silhouette characters, which is characters that don't have a lot of detail or whatnot, they can get really just lost in translation. And then I end up just picturing them as something really weird, just for fun. But it doesn't seem like this character is too out of sorts. Maybe just give them a more elevated character profile. All of them elevate their character profiles. Elevate settings. There's a lot of settings that could be elevated. What else? What else? I don't know. There's a lot of memorability in here, though. I like that. That's very important. Let's see. The magic system. We have a magic system that's introduced a little bit. Same with the world building. Double check that we're getting your world building, your magic system, making it unique to not only your world, but to all the other worlds out there. And yeah, I'll just call it there because this is 50 minutes and really good. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Junior Goanaga. Very good job. I hope I did not mispronounce your name. People, that happens to me all the time. Don't worry. Great job, ladies and gentlemen. Keep on writing. This is good stuff. You're on the right track. Work on that presentation and work on all these elements. Rewatch it when you need to. And yeah, like, subscribe, and take it easy, everybody. Have a good day and keep on writing. This novel is pretty fun. So double check where it can be elevated and double check where things can be subtracted as well. There's a lot of things that can be fluff taken out. Great job, everybody.